Hi guys, Ryan here from the Space Update. Coming up on today's show, we've got this week's launch updates. SpaceX's Super Heavy booster moves to the test stand. Skyrora announced space debris removal plans, and is Sir Richard Branson going to beat Jeff into the edge of space? Let's find out. All that, this and more coming up. Let's get started. Okay, launch updates. First off, we've got Long March 6 launching on July the 9th. That's Friday, that one, just about 12 p.m. UTC. China rocket Long March 6 launching there. And then moving on, we've got towards the weekend, we've got Virgin Galactic on July the 11th. No dates yet on that one, but fantastic launch. Looking to beat Blue Origin to the space with that one. And then obviously the week after that, we've got the Blue Origin launch with the bid winner and Jeff Bezos on that one on the New Shepard. And that one's on the July the 20th. But let's just jump straight in with the first topic, Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic's founder, Richard Branson, will be on the company's next flight of its own Spaceship 2, just up on screen there. Which is a suborbital vehicle launching on the 11th, going to space days before fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos, as we mentioned earlier on. Virgin Galactic announced on the 1st of July that it scheduled its next flight of Spaceship 2, called Unity 22, for July 11th, and no earlier than 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and everything from Spaceport America in New Mexico. The flight will have pilots Dave McKay and Michael Mazzocchi at the controls, both of whom have previously flown Spaceship 2 beyond the Kármán line, which is the boundary of space. I'm really looking forward to this one myself. Female aviation legend Wally Funk was supposed to be on this flight with Virgin Galactic, but it looks like through Jeff at Blue Origin may have just persuaded her otherwise to fly on Blue Origin. But otherwise, both launches, Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic, absolutely fantastic for the private sector flight for the likes of me and you, potentially in the future. So, next topic, SpaceX and Starship. Not too much going on down at Boca Chica, and in terms of launches in general for SpaceX with the Falcon 9s and everything. A little bit of chew with the FAA clearance for Starlink, and some of the clearance for Super Heavy and Starship, because obviously down at Boca Chica it's right next door to a natural nature reserve and everything, so big heavy, world's biggest rocket and right next to a nature reserve. A few little things to work out, so that's holding things up at the moment on the development side. And obviously weather bits with Starlink and everything, FAA on that side, that's holding things up on the commercial side. Everything's that's going on at the moment. But most recently, booster number 3's rolled out to the test stand for further testing. No flight of this booster for number 3, but Elon said booster number 4 is due for the very first flight. I'm assuming that one's, as Gwen and Elon stated, end of July or possibly August for that very first flight with Super Heavy and Starship, so that'd be interesting to see. But with this booster number 3 on the test stand, it's going to be put through cryo testing, I imagine, more stress testing and everything, but we could even see SM15 or SN16 up on top, integrated on top, so that'd be quite interesting to see. Hopefully they will do that, and I imagine they will do that to do a full test and maybe even a wet dress rehearsal of the system as a whole, potentially with some engines and maybe even a static fire, who knows. It'd be absolutely incredible to see that. But Elon quite interestingly stated that the engines on the Super Heavy booster will not be covered like Starship when the engines are covered in the engine bay and everything. They will actually extend out by about 3 meters or so, and the outer ring also on the Super Heavy, those outer ring of engines, about 17 or so, probably quite considerably more than that, to be honest. That outer ring will be fixed. It won't have the TVC. It won't move side to side, if you like, for control. The centre engines will control, but the outer ring will be purely upward thrust. Everything. So little nuggets of information we're getting online. And for those of you on Twitter who've been paying attention the past few days or over the week, Elon Musk and Tori Bruno of ULA I've been a bit tit for tat over on Twitter on winning contracts and government testing and everything else. So it was quite interesting to see the two top guns battling it out on Twitter. Quite friendly, to be honest. Teeter on the edge of a bit of an argument, but it's quite interesting to see that you see the owner of SpaceX and then Troy Bruno, CEO of ULA. ULA comprising of Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Absolutely incredible to see them two just talking right out in the open about that. But it is a bit of a tricky topic really, because ULA do seem to be winning a lot of the contracts from the US government and everything like that, whereas SpaceX are more cost effective. But it's just one of those things. It just needs to be worked out, the rules and regulations and everything like that. But in the years to come, maybe it'll be more biased and balanced and everything. But it's quite interesting to see them chit-chattering over on Twitter. So I recommend you guys track that down. Lots of threads of multiple replies. So there is quite a few to Trevor Trove to find there. But moving on to our next topic, UK company Skyrora earlier today on the 7th of July held a presentation at the Space Expo here in the UK, celebrating 50 years since that last Black Arrow flight launched the UK satellite Prospero into space. In this presentation, it talks about the history and the new wave of spaceflight here in the UK, but the one key thing that they mentioned in that that they were now actively tracking the 50-year-old Prospero satellite, and an open-ended planning is due to commence on docking and potentially bring a Prospero satellite back down to Earth, and maybe even display it out on stage in a museum or somewhere. It'd be quite interesting to see. But to bring that satellite back down from orbit is a lot of work, as we all know if you do follow a lot of the space stuff, guys. To bring anything back down to Earth, it's got to be heat shielded, protected and everything like that, so it doesn't just incinerate in the atmosphere, because as you know, little asteroids and stuff like that, it just burns up in the atmosphere if anything's not protected properly. Small satellites, larger satellites, they'll just disintegrate, or what you call like deorbiting, destructive deorbit, like you'll see with some satellites. There'll be old satellites just get deorbited, rather than leaving them up there like space junk. They'll deliberately deorbit them, destroy them and everything. So it'd be quite interesting to see how they capture that, protect it, wrap it up somehow, some shield, and bring it back down to Earth, and then they can find it and put it on display for us to see. Be within reason the first of its kind. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't believe anyone's even attempted that in the past. Very tricky to do, barring putting it in a giant capsule of some sort, maybe Starship, for example. Gobble it up like a shark or a whale and then bring it back down. I know Elon's mentioned that as well, using Starship for gobbling up satellites and bring them back down or whatever. It was quite interesting to see, but that's what Skyrora came out with, so keep you up to date with that and everything as I get more on that. But that's about it for this week's episode. Quite a quiet one, but we've got some amazing companies lined up in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/Total Space, and as always, like and subscribe right here on YouTube and Odyssey. That's all for this week's episode. I'm Ryan, this is the Space Update. Catch you next week.